Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everyone? Welcome. If you can hear me and see me clearly, drop a money sign in the chat. Yes, drop a $sign in the chat so that I can know all of my investors are in the building. Let's see the $signs coming in. Drop a $sign. Let me know you're here. Welcome to the PopCom Investor Summit. I'm Dawn Dixon, the founder and CEO of PopCom. I really hope you know who I am. I'm guessing you know who I am. And I'm just so excited to get to connect with you all. As you know, we recently closed our round, the second oversubscribed Reg CF in, I guess that's 16 months. There are 4,000 of us. So we are 4,000 deep on Team PopCom. And yes, in the chat, I see the money sign rolling in. Drop where you are from. Drop where you're joining us from. I would love to see where you're tuning in from. I see Columbus is in the building, ATL. We're here in Columbus, Ohio in the PopCom office. If you have not seen the office yet, definitely check it out on YouTube. I see Bruce from Chicago, North Carolina, Delaware, South Carolina, Portland, Oregon. We have investors from 42 states. So I would love to see you all coming in from there. So I want to stay on schedule, and I want to make sure that I address your questions. Feel free to drop questions in the chat. And also Danielle, she is our social media concierge. It's called Short Takes, and she's also helping to moderate. So if I don't catch the question, she will catch the question. The format is I'm going to speak to you and just open it up and take some first questions, and then you'll hear from each of our team leads. Our team is growing, so you're going to hear from just the lead of each area. What's up, Dallas, Indianapolis, Florida, Phoenix, San Diego, Oakland, Virginia. Let's get it. All right, great. So I'm going to jump in, and thank you once again for making your investment. And if you did not read my update, but I'm thinking you did, but if you did not read my update, it has not been made public yet, but we have acquired a company called Wiser. That's right, y'all. We done bought a whole business. So this is something very exciting because not only are you now an investor in PopCom, you're an investor in Wiser. And so take some time to dig in to learn more about Wiser. Wiser has gamified surveys. We've always used Wiser in our PopCom point of sale system at the end of the transaction for you to take surveys. And Wiser really, in addition to Natasha joining the team, who is the founder of Wiser, she's now going to be over business development for PopCom. Wiser has all the customers that PopCom dreams of. Wiser has been able to secure major customers, including Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Google, Kroger. And the list goes on. So check out the website and see. But this is very exciting because right away after we close the round, we put your money to work. And the most important thing is we're generating revenue. I'll let Natasha update you. But PopCom is now, with the acquisition of Wiser, we have steady monthly income coming in through revenue until the pop shops are ready, which is great. It's been time that we've been waiting to get to profitability and always wanting to get to profitability. And of course, who's been on the journey with us, the hardware has been a challenge. It's a challenge that we're still working to overcome as far as going into full-scale production, but we're very close to being there. I definitely have more updates on that for you. The next thing, if you did not get a chance to catch the demo that I sent out in the email, it's official. Now, I'm asking you all to keep this in confidentiality. Keep this confidential, rather. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell your friend on the wait list. Don't share my emails with your friends on the wait list. Don't tell anything that I'm about to tell you because it's just very proprietary information. But as an investor, you're privy to this information. And so we have secured a customer in alcohol beverages, which is a big deal because we are the first solution, the PopCom Plus Civic solution that I shared on the YouTube video. If you didn't catch that, go to YouTube. We are the first approved solution by the California ABC board to be able to dispense alcohol in a vending machine in an automated way. This has never been done in the United States. Now, I'm sure people have seen those Moet vending machines, but the difference between what we're doing in those Moet vending machines is our machines fully age gate, meaning our machines check the ID, verify liveness test, everything is dispensed without a human. In the past, including the Moet vending machine that everyone has seen, in order to use that machine, you have to give your ID to a human being bartender, and then they give you a token, and then you use that token to purchase in the vending machine. So obviously that's not automated, it's not. We're actually bringing our regulated retail product to market with E&J Gallo Winery. Again, this is very confidential. We're under strict NDA terms with them because they want to surprise the market and be first to market. But it's exciting because this is really a 7-figure customer for us. You know, our whole team is hands-on right now, focused on meeting the needs of this customer. They have custom software needs. They have fairly custom and unique hardware needs. They're not going to use the pop shop. They're using a machine that's large with refrigeration. So we've had to go out and source that machine. So those are the hurdles that we've overcome is, you know, realizing that the pop shop, of course, is limited. We can sell many products in the pop shop, but not every product in the pop shop. And so in our efforts to expand our catalog and be able to offer more products, we are partnering with the hardware manufacturer that will allow us to stick to our business of software. We really are a software company. We are dabbing in more hardware than any of us want to. But we're doing what we have to do right now, which is very exciting. And we are in the process right now today. The team and I had a meeting to finalize our relationship with our hardware manufacturer that will really take all the hardware off our plate, build machines for E&J Gallo, build all the pop shops, and offer us a catalog of hardware that we can give to our customers and say, look, you can pick from 5, 10 different models with our software integrated. That will take the entire PopCom team out of the R&D of hardware. We all really want to be out of the R&D of hardware and be done with the non-recurring engineering costs. So that is, you know, that's the hardware update. We're currently aggressively hiring for a head of hardware. As you all know, we were working with contractors in the past to get us to this really important milestone of being able to have a machine that can be fully replicated. But in all transparency, we looked at that one that we built last year and the one that we were prepared to scale, and we see ways we can make it better. We see ways we can make it more flexible. We see ways that we can allow it to carry more products, change product sizes. And so we're going to have one more go at this. And I mean, you know, I feel like the entire journey of PopCom has been hurry up and wait. But it's so important for us to build a product that we can stand behind and continue to reproduce. So even though I love the machine we built last year very much, and it is the vision that I had, the more we learn about the possibilities in hardware and robotics, and the more we learn about how we can build a machine that's just easier to just be more agile. We're working on that. So I will have an update. We still are on track for a 2020 delivery. The video went out. It's back. Okay, thought we had cut out for a minute. You know, Kaleem's in here letting me know. So we're still on track for a 2020 delivery, likely be the end of the year. As CEO of this company, I hate to keep saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Trust me, there's so much work that's involved in this. They say, you know, slow and steady wins the race. We're not intentionally going, we're not even actually, so we're moving very fast, but still have some ways to go before we have the product that is going to be the product that really we take to market. So we're getting orders to learn more about that in Kim's section, but I wanted to give you an overview, especially because now I'm actually doing the hardware overview until we get our head of hardware on. I'm almost done because it's going to be time to bring on our CTO, Dan Rockwell. Let me think of if there's anything else that I want to tell you in the beginning. I don't think so. I'm sure something will come up in my mind, but in the interim, I would like to introduce you to our CTO, Dan Rockwell. I met Dan in 2017 when I moved back to Columbus, Ohio to build PopCom from Los Angeles. I was introduced to him through our investors. And he was, according to everyone in the city of Columbus, he is the guy. He's the startup guy. He's the guy to know. He's a problem solver. And I really wanted to work with Dan when I first met him, the whole Big Kitty team, but I just couldn't afford them yet. I just could not afford them yet. You know, I was an early startup. But we stayed in touch, and Dan always would just be very supportive and reach out and check on us and go have some ramen and just let us know that, you know, he's in our corner. And as soon as we raised that round, Dan was literally the first person. Dan and the whole Big Kitty Labs team were the first people I reached out to, like, hey, we have some money and we need you. We need your talent and your skill set, and we need your eyes on this thing. So Dan's going to come on and talk to you about the high level tech things we're working on. And you're also going to hear from Pat Camp, who is our head of product. And Pat, in addition to, I have to say, she is Dan's sister. She's Dan's sister. And I just want to thank God, you know, for the Rockwell family at this point, because we've had so much engagement from Dan, and they're a very highly technical family. But Pat's on our team full time as head of product, and she just come in and made a tremendous impact. I mean, Pat definitely sees everything. I'll think I've seen it, and then Pat will come and be like, no, you missed this. What about this? What about that? And like a person like that is so critical to the success of a business with so many moving parts. So now Pat's like, you know, she's the owner of the product. So that's her baby. It's no longer my baby. It's really Pat's baby. She will fight you over this product. Trust me. And she really is just like the second, third, fourth set of eyes that we need on everything. So you'll hear from them. I'm going to get out of the screen and let you guys hear from the other team members.
Sweet. Hey, can everyone hear me okay? This is Dan. Check, 1, 2, check. Can you hear? Yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes, I can hear you, Dan. Someone say that. If anyone can hear me okay. Yeah. All right. Sweet. You can hear me. All right, folks. Again, my name is Dan Rockwell. It's great to be here with the Army. You guys are like an army. You know that? You guys all have a shared connection now because you're working with Dawn and investing in this amazing thing. I am a technology person with a technology background. I love startups. I love the struggle. I love the hustle. That's the big thing I love. It's nothing better than manifesting, bringing something out of thin air that never existed. If you think about it, vending machines for 30, 40 years have been the same box forever. And it wasn't for if it wasn't for Dawn to basically say, this thing could be smarter. Let's do that. You know, so I love a great CEO. I love a vision, and really just about anything that you have in your brain today can be built. So that's we're really a believer kind of group here. We believe in next. We believe in just about everything. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go. And I'm going to bring up a deck. Hopefully you can see this first slide. This is Pat, my sister, involved in a project. Yes, that's right. Family. Why family? Because you know what? You can trust family. Family works. Plus, we're all 6 kids in this family. And we're all the son of a brilliant 40, 50-year engineering veteran and user experience. So, hey, we got some good genes at work here at the table. So, again, our software, let's talk about it really quick. So, we're basically a software, hardware solution for vending. This is a full software as a service system. There's really nothing like it on the market with the kind of integrations we have. We have a point of sale system where you can actually browse a product and purchase it. And then we have a full sort of analytics suite, everything from surveys to other integrations that we've done. We've, on the hardware side, we pretty much have conquered it. Like this machine exists. It's always sort of the hardware mass duplication efforts is what we're really working on next. It's an exciting piece of technology if you think about it. You can customize it. You can customize it with branding, your own content. We are able to do facial detection, to do emotion recognition, and actually change ads on the fly, or help you actually see which ads actually caught up with different demographics. It's got full sales tools and conversion rates and trending. It's got email capture, product inventory management and notifications, promotions, receipts, surveys. We did a full documentation suite over the last few months, building up really great education pools so people that really have no vending experience at all can jump in and basically start selling anything. I mean, this is a portable retail at whatever location you want. If you think about it, if you were going to get space today, it would cost you thousands and you'd be locked into a 10-year contract. You know, with PopCom, you're pretty diverse. You can pretty much do anything. Our secure POS system, we have a credit card. We've done experimented with different other technologies to help sort of change up the POS experience based on what our customers want. We've had a lot of early customers talk to us about different applications that they're interested in, and we're pretty excited about that. I'm going to save the last 3 slides for Pat and kind of jump back and answer some questions. Let's see. Can you show us a picture of the actual machine? Yeah, actually, we will share that. I think Don will do that. The one that was on there is the actual machine, believe it or not. It's not a rendering. And I think, again, yes, I am related to Paul Rockwell. That's true. That's my brother. He's a great guy, by the way. Daryl, thank you. If you know Daryl, if you know Paul, call him up and say, yo, I invested in somebody's company that you know about. Scrolling through the questions here. Any other questions? I think it sounds pretty good. Again, guys, our door is always open. That we can basically talk to you guys at any time. It's really important to stress that our investors are our core family. We consider each one of you part of the product. I think that if you are interested in the product, even from a beyond the investing scenario, you should sort of allow to engage. Is there any testing to ensure that we don't have racial bias as a software? Jasmine, that's a good question. Unfortunately, a lot of the current AI and facial detection standards were not created. A lot of the early patents in this space are not actually created with a diverse set. So that's improving every day. A lot of it depends on the lighting in the room and the way the systems are set up. The malls are sort of notorious for being sort of dark lit because from a merchandising product standpoint, they want you to be drawn to lit areas. And that's usually inside the store themselves. So it really depends on the location. Technical challenges that we've had. Most of the technical challenges have been on the hardware. Software is a pretty straightforward, pace of a system. Like we understand that we can make it. Probably the biggest challenges are dealing with obviously the COVID. We've had some issues obviously dealing with COVID and going around that route, but most of our software problems in software don't really exist. It's mostly on the hardware side, and it's temporary. These are learnings. We're learning. It's a kind of a new field, and we're all learning. Potential customers, again, Don will answer that. Those are questions on that side. Again, anyone, my door is open. Please send up any information. Have you been curious about security? What measures have been taken to prevent people from hacking the machine? Yeah, we've actually done a full sort of security checkover on the machine. Machine's kind of locked down pretty tight. We don't open our Bluetooth connections or anything like that. Everything's kind of wired inside, pretty sound. And then we have an identity sort of checking system internally that sort of checks for things. And then, of course, we're on all the top-end software suites. We use Amazon and other services. So it's all pretty straightforward. All right, Pat, I'm going to hand it over to you. Again, thank you, people, for participating in this. And again, our doors are always open to answer any other questions. All right, thank you.
Hey, everybody, can you hear me? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I think I'm on. Dawn, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hi, everybody. So yes, hi, welcome to all the investors. And by the way, I'm an investor as well. And so, I'm very excited about where I work, who I am, and who I'm choosing to spend my work and my passion with, which is bringing meaningful software to the market. And retail is close to my heart because I'm a shopper. And anywhere I can find ways to experience great retail, I'm excited. So I want to kind of continue through our presentation, if I can get through this quickly here. So we've already talked a little bit about all the different products. Can you see? I hope you can see the screen because all I can see is my presentation. So obviously we have a lot of feature sets, and all of these things are very robust. It looks like just bullet points here, but each one of these is very robust experience. And if there's anything I want to do is really just get it into the hands of retailers. That's what we're really excited about, because I feel that retailers have no idea the power that a pop shop is going to give them. And so someone asked about the device itself, the picture. This is the actual pop shop. This is a photograph. Yes, I did pop in the image there of the advertisement and our point of sale, but this is what the pop shop looks like. And we have it in our office. And it works. It's testing. It's recording all the crowd. It's tracking and counting crowd. It's tracking who's looking at the machine. It's tracking who's touching it, who's working with it, who's buying, who's walking away. All that data is there for us. And that's what's really exciting to me. So Dan kind of talked about the feature set. One of the other big pieces of our software is the integrations that we do, because as you can imagine, a vending machine is full of lots of parts. We've got a credit card reader, but behind the credit card reader, we have a merchant account and payment gateways. And we also have cameras that are doing facial detection. We have connectivity issues. These machines need to be up all the time. We have subscription payment through Stripe. We have our identity verification that we do for our age gating regulated industries. And we, of course, have the dispense hardware itself. So all of that is part of our software set as well. So when we say we're software, we're not just the applications, we're all those integrated parts as well. We also are always thinking about what's next. And some of our clients have given us some ideas of what's next. These are just a few of them. But, having multiple role management, custom analytic reports, especially advertisement analytics. They want to have special reports that say, I had this ad up, this ad showing, it got triggered this often, how many people were buying during that time, all of that kind of data. We also want to be flexible enough to be able to upload inventory from other retail software systems, be able to search, filter, even on the point of sale, should we have a device that is a kiosk only mode. We're talking about vending here mostly, but in fact, our software also can be in a kiosk mode where you can choose and add things to a cart, and you may then purchase and either have things shipped or you pick them up elsewhere. We've already got all that built in as an option, so you may need inventory or product search. We're also looking at, for our new alcohol beverage client, they're looking to control consumption, limiting how many alcohol beverages somebody can purchase, not just on a machine, but fleet-wide. So that's a little bit more robust feature. Receipts through text, social share, and even potentially purchasing with a mobile app. So those are just some of the things that are on our radar. And, Dan and I talked a little about who we are, but I think it's important to think about, what it is our responsibilities are. I am definitely, this product is my baby. I'm a very ferocious mama bear. Don't, diss my product. And I just want to take this child out and show it to everybody. But, we think about those things that really keep us up at night. And I think it's important that you know about some of those things, knowing that we have the right tech on Dan's side. What can we do in the future? Are we staying on top of the most recent tech? And for me, it's, anything that's less than a great user experience is going to keep me up at night. So let's hope that doesn't happen. So I'd love to open up questions now and see what you have to say. I wasn't watching the chat during that presentation, so shoot me the questions. There's some regulatory requirements that must be met before product gets to market. Well, for the alcohol business, yes, we have to make sure that we are in an area and industry that is approved. Can any issues with machine be fixed remotely? Absolutely. So we do have ways to drop in remotely to our machines and check status, run reports, error reports, boot things back up again. Yes. The product and federal regulations, I think Dawn can speak to some of that. That would only be obviously with alcohol vending. Yes, we had to have our particular client get some authorization to go forward with that. If we move into the cannabis field, yes, there are some regulations that we'll have to navigate, but our future biz dev is looking at all of that. How accurate is the age verification? We use a tool. We're actually integrating with another tool that does verification through a driver's license. So it's actually dead on. Our software actually asks this software, is the person 21 or older or not? And this integrated product called Civic sends back a yes or no. If it's yes, we let them shop. If it's no, we don't. So it's very accurate. Refrigeration, yes, we are going to be having refrigeration certainly for our beverage machines that need to be. There's so many questions. It's great. Other industries or fields that can benefit from this contact. Well, we can certainly continue talking about that. API integration, we do, that's of course a big way that we do integrate with other software and hardware are through APIs. And that's something that we explore. But one thing to note is that, we have our mission. Our mission is to deliver what you have all supported us to do. And so there are so many options that we could pursue, so many directions we can go in. We have an R&D bucket that we keep those in, but we want to make sure as a company we stay laser focused on delivering what you are all supporting us to do. What type of retailers? That's a great question because we're really looking for retailers who have a market and an interest in selling items on the go, so it's items in an airport, items in a conference center. I went to a conference in January. My feet were killing me. I sure wish I had a flat out machine nearby. So, any products, typical products that go in vending machines. If you've been into an airport recently, you've seen those kinds of things. But what makes our machines so totally different is the analytics. Those retailers are going to know who walked by, who stopped and looked, what gender were they, what age range, all of that information, and we're giving it to them, real time. Cannabis pasta. I'd like to try that. I'm just kind of reading through all the questions. Who are our competitors? I'm going to let Kim in sales talk about that. And my time is probably almost up. Can law enforcement agencies have access since the machines are always scanning? I'm not sure we've addressed that. I suppose that just like any other security camera, I suppose we would have to consider that. Dawn, is there anything else you want me to cover?
No, you don't have to. I'm going to take this time and thank you, Pat. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to take an opportunity to answer a few more questions before we introduce the next team member. I see a question, I'm assuming it's how are you planning to up production once the product hits the market? Well, we definitely plan on the demand increasing. So our number one goal is to, of course, get the Gallo machines out. We're going to get 10 machines launched, which is a pretty large pilot. And then we also have 20 pop shops that we're currently working to build. And I believe 9 or 10 of those already are under contract. So the goal is to just really focus on one thing at a time. I have had to learn as an entrepreneur to kind of dial myself back and just focus. Pat definitely does help me do that too, is to stay on track. And so as much as I want to say, we're going to build 500 pop shops next year, I have to make sure that the first 20 that we build and put to market are accurately, thoroughly tested. We do everything we need to do to figure out how can we break it, because we need to know all the ways it can break so that we can know all the ways that we can fix it. So we're really in the beginning. It feels to me, since I've been doing this for so long, we're at the home stretch. But really, this is the beginning because everything I've ever been working towards is bringing this product out. And so once we get it out, it's a whole nother task we have to go. So, of course, we want to scale fast. and build the products and have thousands out there. But we have to start by making the first 20 the absolute best product that we can. Another question from Cedric: what are the advantages of COVID-19 and your product? Definitely, you know, I never want to speak highly of COVID-19 as an advantage to anyone. It's really a devastating time for the world and people. A lot of our loved ones and friends and family are affected. But on the side of automated retail, it's just really validated the need for contactless, touchless, and automated retail businesses in general. You know, people don't want to touch each other anymore. They don't want to touch something someone else touched. They don't want to stand next to each other. And so how does a retailer sell a product if you can't hand it to a person? Or how do you give information if you can't talk to a person? So, you know, automation is the future. PopCom, we've been on the forefront of this for many years now. So what COVID-19 did was cause retailers to start taking a deeper look on how they can deliver products direct to customer faster, frictionless, and safer. And what we have done as a team, which we're still working through the hurdles of even integrating this new pivot, is we've changed the screens that we use. Now, again, I told you guys when I first opened up, we had a machine all the way built last year ready to go. But those machines had screens you had to use your finger. And we had to think about it as a team. Do we want to use a product, have a product that people have to touch in a world where people don't want to touch? And so we had to go back to that and, you know, get these screens that you can now use with a glove or a pen or stylus. That took some development time. But these are the things that we have to stay on top of because of COVID. Am I on the screen? Let me see. I heard my screen went out. So make sure you can see me. The next thing, I'm looking at more questions, making sure that I'm still on the screen. What type of retailer? I believe Pat answered this as far as what type of retailer, but currently where we are today, we're not really targeting anyone. We have received an overwhelming amount of inbound leads over the past several years. And so the task that Kim had, which you'll hear from her shortly, was to come in to our system and see, you know, qualify these leads, see if can they really work with us? Can they afford to work with us? Can their products fit? Who should we be targeting? So we're in customer discovery mode. So every time we get a lead in, which we have literally thousands that she went through, a lot of them aren't really good qualified leads, you know? So we're learning that eventually we'll have a list that we're going to target. We're definitely going to always target regulated retail. That was the foundation of our first campaign last year. But then we're thinking, what other retailer do we target? I mean, in general, for today, for the Pop Shop, it's products that fit in the size of a ring box to a hat box and don't need refrigeration. That is a product that's very easy to fit in our current product of Pop Shop. Anything else beyond that needs customization, we really don't want to get into that area right now. So we're learning. You know, this is the time where we're figuring out what is our sales cycle, what do our customers need? Do they need financing? What are the payment terms? I mean, all of these things, it's learning now. Once the product was done, it's figuring out the ideal customer for it, because it's not always who I thought it would be. If you guys remember, this all came out of me doing Flat Out of Heels. This is so far beyond Flat Out of Heels at this point. I thought that we were going to be selling Flat Out of Heels machines to hundreds of people. Now it's so much more than that. So, right along with us, I think we'll have this figured out by the top of the year as far as who our targets are going to be. And Kim can talk to that a little bit more. How is maintenance needed on an annual basis? Machine maintenance will have a maintenance contract, just like any other type of hardware that you have, your cell phone, your laptop. There'll be a maintenance plan that the hardware manufacturer provides, but that's not something that we do. I see this, okay, touchless screens on the roadmap. I talked about that. How accurate is age verification? This is 100% accurate because we're going off of someone's ID and facial detection. So it goes off of their actual driver's license or passport. So it is accurate. It has to verify you for age gating. Now, if you're talking about just our general advertising system where it detects age, gender, emotion, and engagement, that is a 92% accuracy rate. We are not capturing identity. We're only capturing a profile. So sometimes if your hair is pulled back, you could look more on the masculine side. You know, it's just not guaranteed. Like Dan talked about when we talk about and biases that exist in facial recognition and facial detection. The biases are overcome with use, which means we need a lot more Black, brown, diverse types of people, different looking people, so the machine can learn. It's called machine learning because the machine has to learn. And we are ways away from face recognition being totally accurate. That's why the argument around law enforcement exists, because it's a long way from being 100% accurate unless you're presenting your identification. Let's see, I'm gonna get a couple more questions. Who performs the maintenance? The maintenance is performed by the hardware manufacturer. So we're software. If anything happens with software, we service that on our back end. We don't need to be there in person. If any hardware issues arise, that is the responsibility of our hardware manufacturing partner. When it comes to replenishing the machines, which means refilling it, that's not our responsibility either. That is the responsibility of the owner of the machine. So every city and almost every venue that has a vending machine in it has a separate company that manages the replenishments of those machines. When I had my machine in Atlanta airport, there was one company that we all had to contract with to replenish our machines. It was like a union. And so it's not a broad answer. It's depending on what city you live in and depending on what venue you place your machine. That is why PopCom does not deal with that part. So it's easy to find a company to contract with to do that, but it's not something that we actually do. The next question, I think Pat answered all the rest of the questions. What areas, industries do you think would be the best in, given that malls seem to be dying? Malls will never die. They will change. And so what could happen is you have a space, a retail space, a mall, which is a retail space that now has fully automated stores in it. Malls are turning into experiences. If you notice, before COVID, malls are destinations with all kinds of restaurants, activities, and things to do other than shop. So that's going to continue. There's way too many mall properties that exist for them to die, but they will change. And we are here to be on the forefront of that. How often do you plan on updating the software? We have several software updates that we'll push. We have Pat, she didn't share it with you, but Pat has really done some amazing wireframes for some updated user experience. And we're waiting for it to launch to push that update. So like any software company, every time we see a bug or every time we see something we want to improve, we're going to continuously push updates. We are a software company. That is actually what we do, is make software better and push updates. So I don't have a frequency timing, especially now before we've launched, but definitely is something that we are always working on how we can make it better. And once the customers get it in their hands, we'll definitely know what they need and what we need to build. Refrigeration is an option, but again, it's not something that we do. We outsource our hardware to manufacturing partners, and they have many machines, and they also have refrigeration. They have also machines that are heated and cooled. The price range for the machines depends on the size. So if you want a Pop Shop, which is our flagship product, the Pop Shop, that's $20,000. However, if you have a product, for example, like the Gallo machine, and you need to sell cans with beverages, that's a different machine, a different cost. It's a little bit more affordable because it's more off the shelf. It's a machine that's already existed. The Pop Shop is a very unique, proprietary, and high-tech machine. So it's a lot of different components, CPUs, cameras, touchscreens, display screens, things like that that make it more expensive. So it is really a range. I would say it's a range from $10,000 to $20,000 for a machine. With an API, so you talked about that. Talked about retailer targets. I'm trying to get to all your questions, you guys, and then I'm going to bring Jared on. Hopefully he's backstage. How big is the market according to our research? There are over 120 million people a day use vending machines in the United States. There's close to 10 million machines. That's growing 30% year over year, and it's projected to reach 39 billion by next year, and it's growing. And it's definitely growing because of COVID and because of the need for contactless, touchless. Do investors that own businesses get any type of discount perks when bringing this to our companies? That's something I would be willing to discuss. You know, Sarah, reach out to us. I will hear what you have in mind. Next question. You offer licensing opportunities for the software. Absolutely. You know, that is our core. We want to get to the point of this business where all we're doing is licensing software. We did not want to be in the hardware business. We're kind of in it right now, but we're working to get out of it once we complete the pop shop and we can hand it over to our manufacturing partners. So yes, we definitely want to integrate the software. We are not yet ready today to launch that API, but we are definitely looking for a flagship marquee customer to work with us to bring this to market. So Daryl, if you have a client in mind, that would be great. Let's talk. They must have a budget. Let's talk and let's see if we can move forward with that. Can law enforcement agencies, she answered that, who are our competitors. So I did not think we had an actual competitor until this week. Yeah, today's Tuesday, last week, Friday. And there's a company in British Columbia that I would say is less of a competitor and more of an admirer of our work, which is amazing. And so they are a very early stage company. They raised about $400,000 and they're looking to retrofit vending machines. So not exactly what we do, but the types of technology and data that we offer, they're looking to add that to existing machines. That is on our roadmap, you know, having a retrofit device, and we will. And I think competitors are great, or people that are like us, to continue to validate our industry and validate what we're doing. You know, it's a big world, and there's room for other people in it, especially in British Columbia. We're really focused on the US right now, and then we'll expand from there. But that's the only one I could find, and they're not a big company. So as opposed to any other company you may have heard of, PopCom, we make software for the vending industry. Other companies make software for themselves, for their own business. They don't sell it or license it to other vending machine companies. We're not a vending machine company. We're a software company. So I have to always say that, because despite me saying that all the time, people still think we're a vending machine company. And I believe once we really can scale our product, people will start to understand what we really are here to do. I will take more questions later because there's a lot more. And I'm happy about that, but I'm going to let Jared join, and I want to introduce Jared. Jared Karinko, we met in 2017 as well, I believe. And Jared reached out to me on LinkedIn. He found me from all of my media and said, listen, I like what you're doing, but your website's not shit. He didn't say those words. He said it in a nice way. I could really make your website better. It's not really given the messaging of cutting edge of what you really are trying to do. And so we started out working together that way. He's just in a phenomenal, you know, he's phenomenal at many things, I'll say that. And he's played many roles with PopCom, but started out doing our website. We got along great. He's an entrepreneur. He's an engineer. He's a designer. He's just a super smart guy. And then we really clicked on our mutual interest in cryptocurrency. And we were just like trading crypto and learning about crypto, and put our heads together and said, you know what, let's do an ICO. And I'm like, Jared, you know, will you ride with me on this? Because you're the only person in the world that really believes in this. And he did. And I want to tell you guys, you know, everybody sees my face on things, but Jared is equally as responsible for these crowdfunding campaigns as I am. We're 50-50 on this effort. You know, I'm in the front of it and talking, and he's in the back of it making everything work, writing these white papers, writing this content. I mean, Jared is really the one, the behind the curtain, like Wizard of Oz. You know, he's the guy. So I really want you guys to get to meet him. He's currently in Australia. You know, he was based here in the States, and now he's in Australia, which is a beautiful thing about our team. You can be remote. So I'll let him take it from there. Right now, this is his third title. He was head of product for blockchain. He was like head of sales for a minute, but now he's head of product for marketing. And he's responsible for the way the start engine page look, all of our marketing collateral looks, and he has some cool things to share with you. So I'll let him take it from here.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to start with doing the same thing. If you can hear me, just give me some yeses. Just got to wait for those to come through. No yeses yet. Oh, there we go. Cool. All right. So I'm here to show you guys the next iteration of our crowdfunding campaign. And this is what's called a Reg A Plus offering. It's a little bit different from our other two rounds, which were called regulation crowdfunding. As far as what it means for investors, it's pretty much the same. It basically allows us to raise more money in a single round, which is great for the company, which is great for our current investors, because that means there's a lot less legal drag involved in having to do this over and over again. Start Engine's a great partner, but there's a lot of compliance pieces, there's a lot of financial documentation and legal documentation that we have to go through and redo every time we want to do an offering. So this offering is going to be basically an open offering for the next probably 6 to 18 or 24 months. And that will allow us to basically stay open for investors. And I do have to say that this is not a general solicitation for investment. We're not currently accepting investments at this time. However, we will be soon. I can't give you an exact date yet, but it is going to be very, very soon. I can't give you exact details on the share price or anything yet, just because there's some legal requirements around that. But you guys will be the first to know when we have that information. So I'm just going to quickly go through the offering page and do a quick check to make sure everything's good. Yep. I did see a question in about valuation. It's not going to change from our last round. So it's basically, just think of it as an extension of our second CF round. So I'll start at the top here. A lot of this is going to look the same. You're going to see redacted a couple of times, and that's just because I got scared and didn't know if we could share the exact name of our alcohol partner quite yet. I'll go into detail a little bit about them further down, but you'll see a lot of this is the same. It's the same 3 bullet points at the top. We are still one of the top 3 Reg CF crowdfunding campaigns of all time. We are now in the top 3, I believe, of money raised on Start Engine, so that's fantastic. And our tagline here, powering the automated future of retail. You can see one of our beautiful machines. And the pitch, I guess it's just good for me to go through and just remind everyone of this information. Maybe it's been a few months since you last looked, but we want to be the big data provider for the next generation of retailers. So I saw a lot of questions in chat about what is the future of PopCom, how do we scale globally? And part of that's just making sure that we stay as platform agnostic as possible. So yes, we may have hardware units that have refrigeration or different capabilities, but at the end of the day, as Don loves to say, and it's sort of a mantra at PopCom, we want to stay a software company. And that allows us to stay agile, allows us to scale really, really quickly. So some of the things, one of the cornerstone strategies that we're looking at is a retrofit device. And I discussed that in chat a little bit. But if you missed it, it's essentially the fact that we want to be able to have a standalone device that can be attached to any existing vending machine and allow that machine to start getting the data that the PopCom machines do. So conversion rates, sentiment analysis, demographic analysis will allow the vendor to see high-level inventory and sales data. So not everything that the PopCom machine can do will be available for the retrofit device, but certainly the data that is available will be. So you can think of it as, we're not going to be able to plug in and see, the cost of each item being sold in, let's say, like a legacy old boxy snack or Coke machine, right? But we can still get information about what's happening around the machine, who's coming up to it and how often, how long do they stay there? And that's still really, really valuable insight for a vending retailer. So for companies that are not really yet ready to come across the line and get a PopShop kiosk or one of our future iterations of the kiosk, maybe we can bring them closer to the PopCom ecosystem with this retrofit device. So that's one of our cornerstone strategies. And the problem that we're solving, of course, is that this big paradigm shift, right? The retail apocalypse is currently dataless. So although automation is at the heart of this large shift in retail, and in fact, it's exploding, none of these machines that are coming out, or very few of them, have the data that PopCom does. We call them low IQ machines. So this is definitely our opportunity to dominate because of what we have in our machines and the technology that we've built. I've already talked about our approach, but just to drive it home for everyone, we are a software-first solution in a hardware-first industry. As Don said, our competitors like to go hardware first and build a machine, start selling it. What we've done is build this platform that can be plugged into multiple machine types so that we can, again, scale quickly. If you guys want any of these graphics, all of them are available on the current Start Engine page, which is startengine.com/popcom. Our revenue model hasn't changed. When we release other type of SKUs for our machines, we'll have the different prices up here. And here's where I talk about the acquisition strategy. So Wiser is very special because they have existing enterprise partnerships and customers, and they've worked with Google, Facebook, Procter & Gamble, T-Mobile, Unilever, WeWork, Disney, Kimberly-Clark, Walmart. They've worked with some of the largest companies in the world. And what PopCom gets when we acquire them is that existing relationship, and even the past relationships as well. There is a channel there to introduce what PopCom does. So that's a really important part of the strategy with acquiring Wiser, is getting access to their customers and the great relationships that they've built over the last 5 years. We'll also work to unite Wiser's technology roadmap with our own. You can check out Wiser on the website, WYZERR. And we're going to be bringing, in fact, we already do bring Wiser surveys into the PopCom solution, but we're just going to bring them closer and closer now that Wiser is an official PopCom company. This section you guys are all going to be really familiar with. This is what we're doing in the regulated retail industry, which is essentially providing a secure and self-sovereign management of your personal information when you're buying regulated products. Talking about the pain points, again, this is all still available on the current one. Okay, now, I'll let Dawn decide if we can share the name of the retailer quite yet, but there's a few things I can tell you about them. They are the number one wine seller globally. There is no one bigger than this company. They make 3% of the world's wine. Think about that. 3% of all of the world's wine is made by this one company. They have sales in 90 countries, and their yearly revenue is in excess of $5 billion. So this, as a keystone customer, is incredible. We are very, very lucky, but we also, took the opportunity to say yes when a pilot came up, and now that pilot's now transitioning into a full customer. So, it's a very, very exciting time for the company. It's a very, very exciting time for all of our investors. We can't wait to share and publicly announce the partnership, which will come very soon. We still are working with our cannabis partner in the Netherlands as well, in The Hague. It's a coffee shop cannabis retailer called Kremers. And here are some of you lovely folks. This used to say, I think, 2,200, but now there's 4,500 investors from around the world. We're like a family. We are really, really excited to get back to our regularly scheduled investor meetups, hopefully sometime soon. With everything going on, it's looking like it might be next year, but we're definitely going to get back to doing those. Dawn, for some reason, loves being on the road, and I'm much more of a homebody, but I'll join when I can. But just know that Dawn is going to be out there hitting the road and meeting you guys in person when it's safe to do so. Here's some of your lovely faces. I'm going to ask you guys to do something special. Damien, who manages the social media and does a lot of other things at PopCom, is probably going to hate me for this. But if you want to give us a testimonial and be featured in our social channels or our marketing, send us an Instagram video of telling us why you invested and why you love PopCom and what you're excited about. Just be careful not to share any private information, and send it to our Instagram. If you want to use Gmail instead, or like another email client, email shareholders@popcom.shop with your video, and we'll work on categorizing those and getting them up in a place that shares the love. Of course, talking about the one and only Dawn Dixon. She's been killing the game in media. I'm sure you guys have seen it. She's all over the place. Forbes, Fast Company, VentureBeat. She's just killing it. And I'm sure you guys know she actually was in front of Congress in the House of Representatives just a few months ago. If you haven't caught that video, go to the website and find it. It's on there, and check it out. So that's about it for our pitch or our story. Just the rest of this is roadmap. You guys already know pretty much all about these.